So I have some examples now, and this is my journey with standard work for leader. And I know I've got some people from my past as attendees on this, so they're going to recognize this activity, which is fun. So here is a sample of a template, right? It doesn't mean that you have to use it. But this was the first one I used when I was a lean manager at the transportation company. And you can see it's broken into certain categories. It's got a legend at the bottom. And let's see, there is some animation here. There we go. So you can see one of the big blocks is activities, right? It's made up of different categories. And this is, again, where we plan. I've got major activity. And if you look at the bottom of this in the yellow legend, you'll see, is this a meeting? Is it planning? Is it coaching? Is it a standard process? And this is something you don't have to incorporate, but it's really good for problem solving, understanding where you're spending your time. The next one is strategic or tactical. And this one is fantastic, especially for leaders that I help. If their job on their standard work for starts out as 100% tactical, we have a problem. Because as we all know, leaders need to have some level of strategic activity. And so this is a fantastic way to move them across that bridge to become more strategic. We can pinpoint what they're doing and what they should be doing and how to move them into that strategic role. Time of day, again, there's certain things that anyone in any role has to do. Beginning of day, say hello to people, ask how their day was, check out the numbers from the previous day, or if you have to approve time cards, or if you're an individual contributor, there might be specific tasks that you do at certain parts of the day. And then you have your daily status. Did you actually complete it, right? Again, back to my check marks. Check, it's done, feels good. The task, checkpoint, actions, and follow-up. So what did you actually plan to do, and do you have any follow-up with it? And something I added to mine is I was supporting all of those groups that you can see under tasks and checkpoints, pricing, maintenance, real estate, and more. And I put these comments on here, metrics, standards, problem solving. So when I would walk through their department or their location, I had intentional activity and it was repeatable. I didn't get stuck talking to someone at the door or at their desk. I could have a small conversation, but I was there for a reason. And having those on there prompted me to constantly look at them and ask about it. So I was planning for my success. Similar to the directors that we mentioned that travels from location to location. And then this next standard work for leader is when I rotated out of the lean department and I actually went to HR and I was responsible for the recruiting team. And we had about, I think, 15 people-ish supporting recruiting drivers and forklift operators and account executives, across the country. And you'll see some changes. I consolidated my activities, but I added a huge space for follow-up activity. Again, I write these things down, then I would type it if it wasn't done, so it was on there when I printed it out again. But I needed to make more space for me for the follow-up, right? That was important to me. I needed to make sure I was getting things done, so I added more space. Again, it's a template that's flexible. I also added the metrics that mattered for our team. So these were HR. A lot of them were lead times of how things moved through the requisition process. So by me going to the recruiting team, I was able to demonstrate how lean processes and process mapping and collecting data can help us improve the process. But I put this on here for a couple different reasons. One, I wanted to make sure I was following up on the numbers throughout the day, the week, the month. Number two, I wanted to demonstrate to my team that these numbers were so important that they're on my page that I'm looking at every day. So when they see that I'm treating them as value added numbers and demonstrating that I needed to be aware of what it was at all time, I was building it into their day, that they knew that their actions had an impact on how the company performed. And I was looking at it all the time. I wanted them to get in the habit of looking at these numbers because it was so important to how we performed our jobs, both with cost, with quality and with service.